my friends. You are watching Political Point Magazine. Where the right is right, and the left, well, the left is always on the wrong side of history. Why? Because political minds want to know. So enjoy a conservative point of view. And let's talk pea soup. With tonight's top stories. Well, looks like Jeb Bush is in. That's right, former Governor Jeb Bush is exploring a 2016 presidential run. Yes, we will talk about that. And it should be exciting considering the plethora of GOP contenders that are already said to be making a run for president. And the Taliban attacks a school in Pakistan. Is this another example of Obama's failed foreign policy? We shall talk about that. And Obama holds his final press conference of 2014. Political Point will separate the fact from fiction in his final analysis of the year. And Cuba releases Alan Gross after 5 years of captivity in Cuba, and in exchange, the Obama administration lifts the Cuban embargo. That is interesting. And also, there's a hack attack. Our freedom of speech is being attacked as Sony pulls a movie after receiving threats from hackers. And we will also reveal Elizabeth Warren unhinged. Yeah. And we will take it to the phones and talk to you, the viewers, on all of this as we come in and talk about everything that's been going on, my friends. Yep. It is quite interesting. I am your humble host, William Mitro. And well, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. All right, there is much ground to cover tonight, as you saw in the latest headlines. There's lots of stuff to cover, but first, before I get to one of my main topics that I'm gonna talk about here, I want to talk about something that recently occurred in the news, my friends. And this, my friends, is quite shocking. Okay, New York City is in shock right now. Okay, as New York City is quite in shock right now, as we bring you a breaking exclusive here. All right, just in the over the weekend, we see this headline in the papers here: 2 cops gunned down in squad car, executed. All right, yes, and this is quite shocking, my friends. It's just not. And my friends, it's the revelation the revelation of this is quite shocking. Okay, now two uniformed New York NYPD officers were shot dead Saturday afternoon as they sat in their their police car on a Brooklyn streets corner. Okay, in what investigators believe was a crazed gunman's execution style mission to avenge Eric Gardner and Michael Brown. All right, now there was absolutely no warning, no provocation, and officer and it's just devastating that the protesters would succumb to such ravage violence like this. All right, my friends, and the suspect. Okay, now the suspect is pictured here. Okay, right there is the suspect there. Okay, and this guy went up to some people and said, "Watch this," and then he went up to the cop car and he vowed that he was gonna put wings on pigs, and the threat and okay, now and the suspect, okay, he's a fugitive suspected of he's okay, his name is okay, yeah, Brian Brinsley, I believe. Okay, but he was a fugitive, and okay, so he was a fugitive, and suspected of putting a bullet in his ex-girlfriend's abdomen at her residence in Baltimore at 5:45 a.m. on Saturday. Okay, by early Saturday afternoon, just 3 hours before shooting Officer Liu and Officer Ramos. Okay, vile anti-police threats were posted on Brinsley's Instagram. Okay, and the threats referenced to the recent police involved killings of Gardner and Brown. Now, okay, and this, my friends, is just quite shocking. Okay, so what I'm gonna show you now is one of the press conferences on this. Okay, it's shocking.
This time we're still trying to really put together his movements and where he's been over these last number of days and weeks and months. Excuse me, one at a time, please. We have no sense at this time that there's any connectivity to terrorist groups, an act of terrorism. We see nothing of that nature at this particular time. Commissioner Miller and trying to learn as much as we can, as quickly as we can about this individual. Well, we're always concerned with that you may recall several weeks ago, after 4 of our young officers were attacked by the individual with the hatchet, our investigation of that clearly indicated that was an act of terrorism, that individual had become inspired to commit that act by continual canvassing of websites, and particularly ISIS-related websites, increasingly over the last couple of weeks of his life. And we had put out notices to our officers, similar to what the federal government has been putting out about the growing concern of lone wolf types of attacks, to the extent that encouraging our officers to work in pairs, increase security around our station houses. So one of the unfortunate realities of policing is that you put that blue uniform on and you become part of that thin blue line between us and anarchy. And from time to time, we are victimized by it, as certainly have happened today. As to the specific motivation, hopefully we'll be able to determine that, but at the moment, that's what we're still attempting to investigate.
Question for the mayor. Do you think this attack is going to inflame tensions further between police and community?
I think this is a time to think about these families. I don't think it's a time for politics or political analysis. It's a time to think about families that just lost their father, their husband, their son, and we met those families. And what we should be thinking about now is how to support these families and how to ensure that not only our communities are safe, but our officers are safe. That's why I'm saying there is something important here. This individual, this horrible assassin, put information on the internet. It was a very, very brief timeline. But there may be other people posting things like this. And what we should focus on is if anybody knows of anybody who puts information like that on the internet or says it to someone, it has to be reported right away so we can protect our officers, protect, again, our entire civilization.
Nothing of this nature, at least in terms of some of the postings that this individual may have made this afternoon. That, let's face it, there's been, not just in New York, but throughout the country, a very strong anti-police, anti-criminal justice system, anti-societal set of initiatives underway. And one of the unfortunate aspects sometimes is some people get caught up in these and go in directions they should not. As to whether this individual was part of any of that, part of any demonstrations here, Atlanta, where we believe his last residence, that's part of the investigation to determine what has he been doing these last several weeks and trying to put some sanity to the madness that occurred here this afternoon in the streets of Brooklyn. Yes, actually, we can give that out separately. Okay. No, the protocols that we put in place several weeks ago and looking to, as much as possible, continually remind our officers about the importance of watching out for each other, if you will. The pleas the mayor is making to the public that if they're aware of somebody whose sentiments are starting to go over the line from just talking about it to actually threatening or seeking to carry out attacks against not only police but other officials, that this is that it's in some respects it's like the Homeland Security Advisory. See something, say something, and it doesn't just relate to terrorism. It relates to so many other issues. The tragedy here was that just as the warning was coming in, the murder was occurring. And there's another irony here that we hope within a year, the mayor has made available a huge amount of money recently that we did several press conferences, that we hope to equip every officer in the department with a smartphone and put into every one of our vehicles tablets that would have allowed that in an incident like this where we had a photograph, well, the officers would get a description, but they would not see the photograph unless they're at a roll call. We could have instantly sent out to all 35,000 of our officers, here's a picture of an individual you need to be watching for because he has indicated he is going to attack police. Or when we're missing children. So the technology is coming. And here's an example of how it's going to benefit the safety of our officers and the public as we go forward.
Two more, please. Two more.
Okay, well, now this is quite shocking that any type of protest would lead to the killing of law enforcement, and it is just ridiculous. All right, my friends. Okay. Read my lips. All right. The police are not the problem. Okay. So it's time to wise up here. All right. And get things straight. All right. Get things straight here. All right. Now, if it weren't for the police, all right, there would be anarchy everywhere. All right. Now, the police are not the problem, my friends. In fact, you know what the problem is? Okay. And I have discussed this at length. All right. And I have mentioned this several times. All right, at length. Okay. Now, recently, the NYPD cops, okay, the NYPD police turned their backs on Mayor de Blasio because Mayor de Blasio recently threw the cops, threw the police force, New York's finest, under the bus, right? Okay, so this, my friends, is not really good. We have a New York City mayor, a Democrat, okay, that basically doesn't really view view things as things should be. All right, but anyhow, all right, hang on a second. But what I wanted to say is, the police are not the problem. All right. Now, 99.9% of the police force is all good. All right. Now, and what the problem is you have those race hustlers like Al Sharpton, okay, and also President Obama even has been going on the airwaves and talking about race. Well, recently Obama went on BET, okay, to talk about all of this. Take a look. Okay, now take a look at some of the things here.
Country is at its best when everybody is being treated fairly. It is particularly important for people to feel like they're being treated fairly by law enforcement and police, because the consequences when they're not treated fairly can be deadly.
Really? Yeah. And but you know what? This whole thing is just ridiculous. You should not kill police just because of some small incidents. All right. Now, these people don't realize that while President Obama has allied himself with Al Sharpton, of all people, okay, Al Sharpton of all people, all right, and Al Sharpton is not the guy that you want to rely on. All right, he has a tremendous racial past. Okay, racial past, and I am going to get into this. All right, because it just sickens me that we have members of the black community. All right, that there's seriously too much black on black crime. All right, and the amount of black on black crime that is in this country outweighs the amount of white on black or any other cases. All right, and Al Sharpton goes out there and just insinuates and just sparks the controversy. He doesn't solve the problem. He's not a healer. All right. In fact, okay, I'm going to get into this because you definitely need to see this. And in fact, back in 2007, we covered a piece on Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Okay, when they condemned statements coming from Don Imus. All right, but I want you to take a look at this. All right, because this, my friends, we have an exclusive. Okay, and this is from back in 2007. All right, in our Political Point archive. All right, and I definitely want you to see this. All right, because and it's definitely ready for you. All right, we put this together. This was back when Pete Political was hosting the show. All right, but I want you to see this. All right, because we have put this thing together, and it's unlike any other. All right, but here we go. Okay, in our Political Point archive. All right, take a look.
Don Imus, okay, what he did, okay. Now he caught a very interesting culture shock, okay. Shock jock Don Imus, right? Okay. Now Don Imus, you might know him from the his TV and radio show, Imus in the Morning, all right. But Don Imus, okay, what he did, all right, was he caught the shock of his life, okay, when he mistakenly caught foot-in-mouth disease, okay. Now, he was talking about he was trying to make a joke, right, and he was talking about the Rutgers basketball team. This is a national women's Rutgers University basketball team, okay, at which he made the mistake of, well, let's just say he put his foot in his mouth way too far. And, okay, this is why I say this is a culture shock, all right? Because, okay, because my friends, okay, Don Imus right here, okay?
That's some rough girls from Rutgers, man. They got tattoos and some hardcore hoes. That's some nappy-headed hoes.
So, you see, yep, he put his foot way too far in his mouth there. Yep, way too far in his mouth. And so, as a result, it went a little bit too far. Well, see? So, Imus took it a little bit too far.
But deeply saddened with the racial characterization they entailed. Not only has Mr. Imus stolen a moment of pure grace from us, somehow, some way, the door has been left open to attack your leaders of tomorrow.
What hurts the most about this situation is that Mr. Imus knows not one of us personally.
They agreed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Well, so their statements, okay, but coupled with that, so Imus, agreed to talk to them personally, but and apologize, and he did apologize on the air, all right, but Imus issued an apology, and it went something like something like this.
I'm sorry I did that. I'm embarrassed that I did that. I did a bad thing, but I'm a good person.
But that apparently wasn't good enough. There's two people out there that apparently came out and said and condemned the shock jock, and demanded his resignation. One of them being, since it's racial, it's Jesse Jackson, okay, the Reverend Jesse Jackson from the Rainbow Coalition, wanted Imus fired, okay, okay, and then there's Al Sharpton, okay, of which Al Sharpton had a meeting with him, okay, but Al Sharpton, he went on Al Sharpton's radio show, okay, but Al Sharpton went on, and but it's like, but Al Sharpton, okay, now Al Sharpton, okay, demanded
Saturday
his resignation, okay. Yep. And so, but it's like Al Sharpton and Al Sharpton. Okay. I need to get into this. Okay. I really, really do. Okay, because, okay. Now, I need to get into this, but Al.
And take it off the airway. This is not about insensitivity. This is about the abusive, racist, sexist use of federally regulated airway.
Okay, so you see that? Okay, now there's a fine line between free speech and hate speech. Okay, and you know what? Okay, it doesn't seem that long ago that Michael Richards, Cosmo Kramer from Seinfeld, yeah, remember him? Okay, it doesn't seem that long ago that Michael Richards was at a comedy club, right? And he was doing a comedy act, got heckled by some black men in the crowd, all right, in which he got angry on stage at these black men who were heckling him and blurted out the N-word, all right? Now, there are words in the English language that you must never, ever use. I would never use them, okay? One being the N-word, okay? I condemn that word. I do not like that word at all. It is racist. It is offensive. It is degrading. And you know what? If you actually looked that up, that word in the dictionary, you would not be using it. Pay very close attention to this lecture, black people. All right? My friends, the black community. The N-word should not be used in any way, shape, or form. All right? And so when Richards blurted out the N-word, okay, the club, as a result for his punishment, banned the N-word from all comedy acts at that club. Okay? Now, Richards did apologize. Now, I do not believe that Richards is racist. But, you know what? What he said was unforgivable. Okay? Both Imus and Richards apologized for their statements. Okay, for their remarks. Okay, but, however, my friends, it didn't go over well. It didn't help them in their careers. Imus got fired, and Richards was never able to advance further in his career. And as a result, both were never forgiven. Now, after Richards blurted out his little tirade N-word in anger on a stage, Jesse Jackson comes out and condemns the N-word, says we need to ban the N-word. All right? Get that? All right, so now, okay, what I want to make light with now is, okay, what I want to make light to now is Jesse Jackson, are Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, okay, really the guys that you want to lead the charge against Imus and Richards and several other people who blurt out racial and racial offenses and stuff? Okay, so what I'm getting at here is, take a look at these two guys, Sharpton and Jackson, okay? Sharpton and Jackson, all right? Okay, all right, So now, if you take a look at the backgrounds of Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, all right? Okay, Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton have a history, a tremendous history of saying racial and offensive things, all right? Yeah. Okay, so let me point out some of the racial and offensive things that the two reverends have said and done, all right, given their background, okay? And you make the choice of, or you make the decision of who to lead the charge against racial offenses here. All right, Al Sharpton used the term diamond merchants, referring to white people, okay? He called white people white interlopers, and he went against interracial marriages, all right? He used the term Greek homos, and he's also caught on tape using the N-word multiple times, all right? He said, and this is Sharpton's words, he says, white folks were in caves when we were building empires. He called the mayor of New York a whore, and he led the and this guy led the charge against Imus to have Don Imus fired. Jeez, you know. All right, now Jesse Jackson, on the other hand, he claims to be the moral authority, okay, on what you can and cannot say, right? All right, okay, and so, all right, and so what we have here, okay, Jesse Jackson, okay, this is Jesse Jackson's history. He has a similar type kind of history, all right? Okay, now Jesse Jackson said he was sick of hearing about the Holocaust. He called Jews Heimies, and then he went to New York and called it Heimetown, okay? He had an affair at which he impregnated a woman, and then he used Rainbow Coalition funds to help purchase her house, and then he refused to pay child support, and then he even offered the stripper in the Duke Lacrosse rape case a scholarship. And this is the guy that's the moral authority of what we can and cannot say. All right? Now, given that, all right, you got to take a look at this, okay? Now, in a culture where bad behavior seems to be rewarded, all right? Okay? And we have black people using the N-word, but it's not right for white people to use the N-word, okay? So what seems to be appropriate for one race is not appropriate for another? This is a double standard here, all right? This is really a double standard. You know why? Okay? Because it should be, okay, since Imus got fired and Richards couldn't move on in his career, okay? You know, it should be actually what is not appropriate to say for one race or group is also not appropriate to say for all other races and all other groups. All right? This is about, all right? You know, it's funny. You know, Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they come out on the cause, okay, against racial discrimination, okay? But, you know, it's also ironic and funny that I didn't hear Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton condemn the statements of Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Roger Clinton, and Robert Byrd when they made these types of statements.
I love this quote. It's from Mahatma Gandhi. He ran a gas station down in St. Louis for a couple of years.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking.
Junior high kicked Steve's ass while he was trying to help his brothers out. Was he a junior right there? Junior high or sophomore in high school, whatever it was, Steve had the down. However old he was, it was Steve's fault. He had the down, he let him up.
There are white niggers. I've seen a lot of white niggers in my time. I'm going to use that word.
The way the House of Representatives has been run, it has been run like a plantation, and you know what I'm talking about.
You know, I didn't hear Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton condemn either of those remarks from those public figures. Okay? So, you got to take into consideration that now that Imus is out because of what he said, Richards is out because of what he said, okay?
Yeah, and there you go. And then, you know, it goes on to condemn the foul language of the. It goes on to condemn the foul language of the rap music, the gangster rap, in there. But now, my friends, so that was back in 2007. All right, and when we covered a lot of things, but now I'm going to move on now, and I do want to say that in all of this, my friends, okay, now our freedom of speech seems to be attacked. Okay, now recently, the movie company Sony had some hackers, and they were threatening because they made a movie called The Interviewer, and it depicted an assassination of the president of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. All right. And so Sony got hacked. So there was a Sony hack attack here. All right. And now our freedom of speech seems to be attacked here because Sony now pulled the movie because after receiving threats from these so-called guardians of peace. That's what they call themselves. All right, and but that, my friends, is ludicrous. All right, because they shouldn't have pulled the movie. All right, you know, and this all comes on the heels of Sony chairwoman in some emails making some racial statements about President Barack Obama and some of the movies that they think Barack Obama likes. It got kind of racial and so but I do believe that our freedom of speech now is being attacked. All right, because Sony should not have pulled the movie. What they should have done was they should have just showed the movie anyhow. All right, and it was said that these hackers were said to have gonna commit 9/11 style terrorist attack on movie theaters if they showed that movie. So what I think should have been done was they should have showed that movie anyway, and then they should have put it on all the TV networks too. Okay, and they should have shown it in North Korea. Yeah, because we will not take that. Okay, we will not take an attack on our freedoms here. All right, but on that note, my friends, okay, we definitely have even more news here. All right, because remember that I said that there's there's lots of presidential candidates on the GOP side, okay, that are thinking about running for president. Yeah, that's right. Okay, but anyhow, we all know that from now, okay, Jeb Bush is considering a run for the presidency. Yep, that's right, my friends. Okay, take a listen. He's releasing 2,500 emails and other documents, leading to the fact that he is contemplating a run for the presidency. That's right. Okay, he is contemplating a run for the presidency. Okay, so Jeb Bush is in. That's right. Okay, take a look at this. All right, here it is.
Mitt Romney would have been a spectacular president in this time. And he was proven right in a lot of his beliefs and ideas shortly after the election as well. So winning with purpose, winning with meaning, winning with your integrity is what I'm trying to talk about.
So on that note, though, it is said that Jeb Bush does support Common Core, which could create a problem for him. But on everything else, he was an excellent governor, and he kept the state of Florida safe, and he handled things well when hurricanes and tornadoes came through, and I think Jeb Bush would make a really great president. All right. Now, I know the liberal left is in shock here, and the liberal left doesn't like the Bushes. In fact, they come out and they're like, oh no, we don't need another Bush dynasty. All right, no. But anyhow, I find it quite interesting that we have now. Now they said that if Jeb Bush does get in the race, which he has announced that he is exploring a 2016 bid for the presidency, that said that it might create problems for Marco Rubio if he decides to run, But there are lots of people on the GOP side, Jeb Bush being one of them, that would make really great presidents. Okay, Jeb Bush, Rand Paul, Ted Cruz is another. All right, Bobby Jindal, but there is though that people are. Okay, people are, the liberal left gets so much in a hizzy over all things trivial, okay, but over all things nonetheless. All right, and it's just it's just that we have this sort of feeling here, all right, that the liberal left gets so extreme, all right. In fact, like you saw in the negotiations now over the omnibus bill, all right, in which Elizabeth Warren tried to shut down things because she was upset at the fact that the House bill watered down and eliminated a lot of provisions of the Dodd-Frank legislation. All right. So in other words, she was against Wall Street. All right. and you know, it's just ridiculous that she comes in to that like that. All right, but but it is said that on the Democratic side, okay, now with things heating up with Bush throwing his hat in the ring, Elizabeth Warren might throw her hat in the ring. and that bears in mind a lot of things here. All right, but because if Elizabeth Warren comes in, all right, then that could create a challenge for Hillary, because Elizabeth Warren is on the far left of the Democratic Party. All right, and the far left is really doesn't like, you know, the liberals in the Democratic Party, they really don't like Hillary. All right, the left is really, they really don't like Hillary. All right, and it's just and now with that, you know, because they see Hillary as too centrist to be president. All right, and I see Hillary as a danger, you know, a real danger to the country. All right, considering the fact that Benghazi happened under her watch, and she was in charge. She appointed the 17th of February Martyrs Brigade to guard the compound. Right. Okay. Now talk about a threat to our national security. All right. These were terrorists guarding the compound. These were the same terrorists that attacked the compound. All right. and you know, and Hillary was in charge of the State Department back then. All right. We do not want Hillary, okay? And we do not want Elizabeth Warren either. Okay. In fact, now in fact, we have a segment here on Elizabeth Warren, okay? And we're calling it Warren Unhinged. That's right. Okay, Warren Unhinged. All right. Okay. But I want to show you though. Okay. All right. Yeah. But I want to show you though. Okay. Because we have a little segment here, and I have it coming up here. All right. And it's about Elizabeth Warren. Okay. We are calling it. Okay, we are calling it Elizabeth Warren Unhinged. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let me get into that. Here it is. All right, so here it is. Elizabeth Warren Unhinged. All right. Okay. Yep. But so let me show you this. All right, because it's very, very critical here. All right. Okay, this is where we show how far left and out of touch that liberals and Democrats really are. All right, so this is Elizabeth Warren Unhinged. All right, Warren Unhinged. All right, but I want to show you this clip because Elizabeth Warren is just so out there, so extreme, and you know, you just you know, she is just so out there. Okay, but on this, my friends, okay, so Warren Unhinged. All right, oh, where is the clippage here? Okay, oh yeah, here it is. All right, so Warren Unhinged. All right, take a look at this. All right, so Warren Unhinged. All right, take a look. All right. Okay. Here it is, my friends. Okay. Warren Unhinged. All right. And this is so extreme.
This woman's...
Okay, wait. Hold up a second. Okay. Warren Unhinged. Okay, so... All right, so here it is. And coming in. All right. That's it. So... once again, she needs to take a chill pill because this is totally extreme. Take a look. All right.
There is nobody in this country who got rich on his own. Nobody. You built a factory out there, good for you, but I want to be clear. You moved your goods to market on the roads the rest of us paid for. Yep. You hired workers, the rest of us paid to educate. Now look, you built a factory and it turned into something terrific or a great idea. God bless. Keep a big hunk of it. But part of the underlying social contract is you take a hunk of that and pay forward for the next kid.
No. That's not how it is, Miss Warren. No, you are too extreme. You know, it's called capitalism, all right? And yes, there is people that got rich on their own in this country. And you, Miss Warren, are misinformed, all right? It's called capitalism, okay? They're called entrepreneurs. I am one of them, okay? All right? They're called entrepreneurs, all right? And, you know, what I do is I actually teach people how to become entrepreneurs, all right? You know, I have them focus on 3 questions, okay, that they need to ask and answer about themselves, all right? And the first is, what comes easy to you but harder for others? Okay. The second is, what would you do nonstop, even if you never got paid for it? And the third is, how can you be of service to people and still give back to others? All right. Now, based on those 3 questions, you can pretty much put something together to make a living on. Okay. Based on your inner passions. Okay, that, my friends, is how you become an entrepreneur and make money for yourself. Get real, get rich. All right? Now, if you work hard and put in the effort, okay, you can be very successful and very rich. All right? You know, it's up to you. It's called self-reliance. You don't need the government. Okay? The government doesn't really boost you up, okay? It's not those government programs like welfare that boost you up and make you successful, okay? So really think about that. All right. Now, I don't have time to get into a lot of other things that I wanted to get into, okay? But I will take one phone call. All right. Okay, I didn't have time to get into Obama's last press conference. Okay, but I will get into that next week. All right, because it is very crucial what I saw in that press conference. Okay, and but anyhow, if anybody is out there listening, all right. 272-0319. I have time for one caller. One caller, mind you. Okay, so one caller. All right. And while I'm waiting for that one caller, I want to remind you that something happened in Cuba. All right. That is quite interesting. Okay. The contractor Alan Gross, after being in prison in Cuba for 5 years, has now been released. Okay, and upon his release, okay, apparently the Pope had something to do with this, but Obama also lifted the Cuba embargo. Okay. Saying that he wants to normalize relations with between the United States and Cuba, and I think this is a pretty bad move. It's pretty bad. All right, it's not good because the Cubans have no rights. All right, they have no internet access, no free speech. no freedom. All right. Nothing's changed in Cuba. It's still the same Castro dictatorship. Okay. Raul Castro may be in charge, but he's no different from his brother. All right. Okay, it's still a dictatorship. They don't have freedom of the press. They don't have freedom of religion. They don't have freedom of speech. They don't have rights over there. So it's no different. Okay? You know, I'm still going to ban Cuba. You know, I'm not going to go to Cuba. All right? So it's just ridiculous. All right? So, my friends, on that note, I'm going to take it to the last words for the night. Okay, since nobody really is paying attention here. All right. Okay, but the last words for the night. All right. It's Christmas time, and it's time to get ready for Christmas. All right. So, on that note, my friends, I am taking everybody on here. All right. So, I say Merry Christmas, and we'll see ya next week. All right. Merry Christmas, everyone. Hope you have a good one. All right. Follow me on Twitter at WilliamMitro2. And also, catch us on YouTube. All right. Yes. Merry Christmas, everyone. Vote Republican. Check us out on the web. Facebook.com/PeakPolitical. MySpace.com/politicalpoint. Email us at politicalpoints@hotmail.com and mccarpet24@hotmail.com, and check out my website on the Elmira City Hall Examiner. Merry Christmas, y'all.